steps in honoring America by celebrating these with the playing of our national anthem. are the Rams of Central Catholic. The OSAA requests that you model good sportsmanship by refraining from derogatory cheers, chants, or behavior towards students, coaches, officials, or other spectators. Any verbal, written, or physical conduct relating to race, gender, age, color, national origin, ethnicity, disability, sexual orientation, or religion will not be tolerated. Such conduct may subject the violator to being removed from the event and result in penalties assessed against your school. Any spectator removed from this event may be banned from attending future interscholastic events. Speak out if you see inappropriate behavior by immediately notifying event management staff. The OSAA and Central Catholic are committed to a welcoming environment that promotes fair play and respect for all, and expect the same from each of you here tonight. We request your cooperation in supporting the participants and officials in a positive manner. Together, we can provide a safe and respectful environment for all.
Welcome into Hillsboro Stadium for the first home contest of the season for Central Catholic as they take on Sandy High School. Central Catholic 2-0, Sandy High School 0-2. As we bring you this clash between these two teams, Bryan Sleik, James Broadous with your call. Opening kickoff will be returned by Central Catholic. The kicking team will be Sandy. Ziel Smith and Michael Williams is back to receive the kick for Central Catholic. Kicking off for Sandy, number 86, Marco Torres will get the game going. James, this is a new-look Central Catholic team. We lost a lot of star players from the previous season. Two kids went to Oregon. We had another kid in King go to Cal, and then we lost Riley Williams, who ended up transferring to IMG for his fall season. So big things for him in the future. He thought he'd move up in some competition. So this offense still kind of learning itself right now. Should be interesting to see what they do on this first drive.
Right, and Steve Bryan has had a history of just sort of not really rebuilding but reloading, and this is one of these opportunities for us to see just how deep they have been. You've had over the years, you've had the opportunity to play a lot of guys because there have been a lot of games where they've been blowouts. So you get guys in, and coach is really good at working guys in through the flow of game. And now here they are to be their opportunities, sort of that next man up mentality.
Now, one familiar face we will see is Crew Newman, the starting quarterback for Central Catholic. He's returning after a stellar sophomore season, 37 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions, and our ball game is starting now. Central Catholic having trouble bringing it up. Now there's an opening in the middle of the field. It's picked up by Smith. He's got an opening, and he's tackled at the 50-yard line by number 29, Kevin Treviso.
Again, there's one of those players right there. He's going to have an opportunity to show what he's got. Sometimes when on the kickoff, if you fumble the ball, it's sort of defenders get out of their lane, and they sort of lose sort of lane integrity. And right there, if you pick it up, you have the type of speed that Zael Smith has, and he takes it to the 50, and he's a threat to take it to the house, as we can see.
Smith, just a sophomore, started a couple of those playoff games last year as a true freshman. So look for him to be heavily involved. So empty backfield to start out for Central Catholic. Crew Newman alone. Swinging out to the left side and broken up, intended for Nico May. Breaking up that pass was Cole Rotzian.
It looks like the Pioneers were sort of ready for that. You think sometimes you want to settle people down, their first home game of the season, first league game. So you can imagine the first pass might be a short little bubble or something like that, and it looks like the Pioneers were right there on top of that.
Cade Galen in the backfield this time with Crew Newman. He keeps it on the option, and he's got an opening on the right side, splitting a couple of defenders. And then he's brought down by Rotzian at the 39-yard line of Sandy.
Great read by Crew Newman right there. That's that read option right there, and he read the linebacker, and he made the right call. If you're going to lose a lot of players, but you're going to have someone returning, you would want it to be your quarterback, and Crew Newman is a good one.
Newman's first pass delivered to Smith, caught at about the 30-yard line, tackled forward to about the 26-yard line, we'll say. And that'll be a fresh set of downs for the Central Catholic Rams. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line.
You see Newman right there, quick, immediate read. Looks like it was a sort of a pre-snap read, and he knew who he was going to right when the ball hit his hands.
Anderson in motion. And they hand it off to Anderson. He's going out wide towards the far sideline. He's got an opening towards the end zone. Cuts back in to beat a defender, and he's tackled near the 1-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 2 as he was tackled by Caleb Reinhard.
Blake Anderson, the senior. Last year he got some minutes. He was out there in some big opportunities, and you can see that, you lose a Jordan King, you lose a Riley Williams, but they still have a lot of speed and a lot of weapons in these skill positions.
Now you may have lost Jordan King, but you still have the spirit of number 2 out on the field. Here's the handoff to Cade Galen. He goes to the far side, bumps into his own man and into the end zone, and a quick 6-0 lead for Central Catholic less than 90 seconds into the game.
Some things will never change. They just went down the field as if this is just sort of like, this is what we do. It doesn't really matter who's on our team. This is the culture of our offense, the culture of our program, and they marched down the field, I won't say with the greatest of ease, but with the greatest of ease.
Well, it had been about, 61 minutes since their last points up on the board. They had a game-winning field goal against Bellevue. They went up against St. John Bosco last week, the number 1 team in the nation, as there's a flag on the extra point where they were held scoreless, but you're happy to see Central Catholic's offense get right back into the swing of things after a rough week last week.
Right, and I think they have something to prove. They want to prove to themselves, but also to the critics, because there's an opportunity. People will take this opportunity that they lost to Bosco, but that is the number 2 team in the country, not just in the state, not just on the West Coast, in the country. And so you would start to think that maybe the Rams aren't that good. I think they have something to prove tonight. They proved something right there in the first, 4 minutes and 18 seconds of the quarter.
Yeah, talking with Coach Pine earlier this week, none of the players were discouraged in that performance last week. Even though they didn't put up any points, they were played hard for all 48 minutes throughout that contest. Nobody was getting frustrated with each other, which a lot of teams you can see sometimes getting some infighting when things aren't going so well, and you never saw any of that on the sideline for Central Catholic as we have yet another flag.
You know, and that's a tribute to the coaching staff. You know, you prepare your kids for these moments, and just think about it, the experience. As you're playing against the number 2 team, you're playing at Autzen Stadium. How many teams can say they've done that? How many players can say they've done that in their lifetime? So it's really about the experience, and you just sort of prepare your team for what happens. And the coach has always been, the coaching staff rather, has always been those type of coaches who just sort of not too high, not too low, just understand the moment and be where their feet are.
Vantoff's kick is up, and it's good. This time, no dirty laundry on the field. And it'll be a 7-0 lead for Central Catholic as we are just a minute and 18 seconds into this ball game. Now for Sandy, it's a bit of a rough start for them this year. 7 wins last season. They made it to the playoffs. They had a couple of big wins throughout their year last season. Things have been a bit slow for them offensively. Only 9 points through the first 2 games. They got shut out last week against Tigard, who was playing for a state title last season against Central Catholic, and so you knew that was going to be a tough contest for them. But right now, defensively, starting off a bit slow, but let's see what the offense can do. They've got a couple weapons that can really put up some points for the Pioneers.
Yeah, and if they want to stay in this game, they're going to have to do something early on this drive, because it's easy to lose your confidence when you haven't scored very much in the season, and now you come up and you give out. You come out and you give up a quick touchdown, quick 7 points. Now they have to respond, and we will see how they do respond. They're trying to find a football. That's interesting. The referee didn't like the one that they were going to kick with. And the referee isn't kicking the ball, so I don't understand.
Bo Robertson, king of the football for the Rams.
So Bo Robertson set to kick for the Rams.
Finally got the right ball. He's real precise walking those steps off, too.
Kick is up, and that'll go into the end zone. No return.
That's why he wanted the right ball. He got the right ball. He got that balloon. Yes, and he's proud. He's coming off. I love it. He's excited. He's coming off. He's sort of flexing on the kickoff. Hey, you know, be the star at your position. Whatever position you are, be a star in it. And right now, he's enjoying his life right now as a kicker.
All right, so Sandy's going to start out in a pistol formation behind the center. It's going to be Billy Lucas, the junior quarterback. Hands off the ball on the first play. Rotzian on the carry, taken down by Grover Mello.
For a second, it looked like that play had some potential to, pick up some yardage, but that hole closed quickly, turned it into a loss of 2 yards.
Lucas alone in the backfield now. Trips left for the Pioneers. They hand it off to Rotzian again. This time he's taken down in the backfield. It's going to be Zach Davis, sophomore linebacker.
Wow, sophomore linebacker. He's in there with bad intentions as soon as that ball is snapped.
It's now 3rd and 16 for Sandy on their own 14. Trips right formation for the Pioneers. Rotzian in the backfield with Lucas. Rolling right. Lines up to throw and gets it near the sideline, and it was caught at the sticks. And inbounds.
Basket play to number 8, Peyton Justo.
Peyton Justo on the catch, and it's going to be 4th and 1 for the Pioneers. Central Catholic has gotten somewhat of a push on that front line early on the first few plays. They try to stop the Pioneers on their own side of the field on 4th and 1. With how Central Catholic went down the field that last drive, you'd think maybe the Pioneers would want to punt in this situation. Instead, it's near the first down marker. And they're going to give them the first down. Rotzian picks it up.
You know, gutsy call right there on the 28-yard line, on your own 28-yard line, and they went for it and they got it right there. That builds some momentum and it builds a little confidence in your offense as well.
Two backs in the backfield. Hand off to Rotzian. Makes one tackler miss, and he's brought down by Cade Galen and number 75, Maddox Carpenter.
Cade Galen in on the stop.
You can see that they like to run the football, you know, and that was one of the things that we've seen sort of in the research. They like to run the football, but it looked early on like they weren't going to be able to run, and they were going to have to try to open it up with the pass. But again, just in high school football, it's a lot about momentum. They got a big play, and now it looks like they are ready to move the ball.
And Rotzian's coming off a broken fibula that he had during the All-Star game. And taken down in the backfield by the sophomore again. It's Zach Davis.
Zach Davis with the stop.
That will be a loss of about 4, so it'll be 3rd and 9 from their own 32-yard line.
Take them back, Zach is at it again. You might not want to run that way.
It's worth noting right now in the secondary and offensively for Central Catholic, they are without Timmy Mitchell, one of their best players on the field, a standout junior for the Rams.
Offensively and defensive standout.
Shotgun formation on 3rd and 9. Justo in motion. Slant pass to the near side. And 2 Rams are there to meet him. It's Galen in on the tackle with Luke Baker. Catch was made by Lathan Thompson. Thompson is a guy who they are going to rely on in the passing game. Lines up at tight end, also out wide as a receiver, as we just saw on that last play.
You're going to have to sort of double team him, not so much on the routes, but on the catch. As you can see right there, Luke Baker held him low, and Galen came in high and took him down. Brings up another 4th and short.
Willenberg and Rotzian in the backfield. Hand off to Rotzian, and he got met near that line to gain, and they will give the Pioneers another first down on 4th down. So 2 conversions now for the Pioneers. It'll be 1st and 10 from their own 42-yard line.
They found some success running to this left side of their line and just sort of falling forward, getting 3 or 4 yards.
And that's all it really takes, right? I mean, I'm no math major, but you get 3 yards 4 times. That's 12 yards. That's a first down.
That's a first down in every league.
Empty backfield with Lucas. Throws it to his right. It's caught. It looked to be Rotzian, and he's tackled near the 46-yard line by a couple of Rams.
They want to get the ball into Rotzian's hands. You know, you can see that he's sort of the workhorse, and they are trying to feature him in all types of, in all facets of the game, run and pass.
Pistol formation for the Pioneers. Tight end and wide out on the right side. Tight end in motion. Hand off to Rotzian to the right side. Splits the line and pushing his way past midfield. He's at the 49-yard line now of Central Catholic. It'll be 3rd and 1 from the 49.
Rotzian just moving the crowd, not willing to go down easily. 5'11", 190 pounds, and man, he's really strong.
I think a trend we're seeing right now with Sandy is they're going to run that ball and they're going to run that clock. We had 1 minute and 18 seconds only come off the clock for Central Catholic, and right now Sandy's eaten up almost half the quarter. They've only thrown 2 passes. 3 for 3, 3 passes now for a 4th. And a flag is going to be thrown on Davis, and it looked to be pretty clear cut there. He had his hands on him as he was trying to make that catch.
Yeah, sometimes that's a tough route for a linebacker to cover. You know, that quick out right there, and he's got to try to – the receiver has a 2-way read. He breaks to the sideline, and Zach Davis sort of just had his hand wrapped around his back. But, you know, he's an aggressive guy. You know, I want to make tackles. I don't want to let guys catch it and then tackle them. He wants to hit people as often as he can. He's just got to wait just a little bit longer.
It's something that's going to come with more reps, too. Again, he's only a sophomore. Defensive pass interference.
The Pioneers.
So that'll move the Pioneers up 15 yards. It's now at the 32-yard line.
This is just what the Pioneers needed, this type of a drive after that quick score by the Rams. This guy looks like he's lined up all sides.
Tight end on the near side.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Thompson down, and then you've got Willenberg lined up just behind the tight end, and they moved it to the 34-yard line. They marked it off 17 yards instead of 15.
Oh, well, yeah.
Because it was at the 49.
Some big steps by that referee. I sort of gave you that look when they were walking off. It looked like they were going too far, but.
Handoff to Rhotsian behind the quarterback. And Carpenter takes him down from behind. The defensive lineman chasing down the running back. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line.
It's a great play right there by Carpenter. You know, quite often in high school football, the play's not going your way, and so you won't pursue. He pursued and caught him from the back. And that's what you're going to have to do to a big running back like Rhotsian.
Zimmerman, the receiver on the near side. Rhotsian now the running back right next to Lucas. They hand it off to him on sweep action to the right side. One defender missed, spins back inside and taken down by Blake Anderson on a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd and 8 from the 32-yard line.
You know, if you can get Rhotsian sort of running towards the sideline, he's not as powerful with his shoulder pads, you know, looking at the sidelines. And you really want him, if you're the Pioneers, heading north and south. And right there you can see they sort of strung him out and sort of took his leverage off.
We saw that on the first couple of plays. He was going east and west more than north and south, and that's when Central Catholic got him in the backfield. Trips left for the Pioneers. Just over 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Lucas drops back, looks to his left, throws it out into the flat, and it's caught by number 8, Peyton Justo, taken down by Cade Galen. It'll be 4th and about 4 from the 28-yard line.
It's a nice pitch and catch right there. But another good tackle right there by Cade Galen. You know, you can't cover every play. Sometimes receivers catch the ball, but then as a DB, how many yards after catch right there? As soon as he made that catch right there, Galen was there to take him down. No extra yards.
Yeah, you're willing to give up the 2, 3, 4, 5-yard catches as long as he's not getting the yak as you just talked about. So now we're going to have a field goal attempt for the Pioneers.
Now, you didn't tell me there was going to be math on the night. How far is this?
35, 45 yards. 45-yarder. The kick is up, and it looked to be just wide left, and it was. The kick is no good for Marco Torres. And so the Pioneers, after eating up almost 7 minutes of clock, come up empty here in the first quarter on their first drive. The Rams will take over 1st and 10 from their own 28-yard line.
Bryan, I know these are teenagers and we're trying to be nice, but you said just wide left, just a little. That ball was 14 yards to the left, man. That wasn't just wide left.
Hey, they're kids.
Okay,
they're kids.
They're kids. Okay, wide left, just a little bit wide left. But
you got to add some suspense to it, James. Come on,
okay,
sell it.
But, yeah, that's a tough drive to come out of there empty. You know, they held the ball. They converted a couple 4th downs. I was surprised to see that they didn't go for it again here on 4th down. You know, and they kicked a 45-yard field goal, and that was just a little outside.
Now they're averaging 3 yards. That was 4 yards to go.
Yeah.
All right, Cade Galen now in the backfield with Crew Newman. 3 receivers to the right for the Rams. Sweep play to the left to Galen. Gets to the outside, past the receiver, trying to stay in bounds, and eventually he's pushed out by number 20, Soren Dial. We do have a late flag near the 20-yard line. And you have to wonder if this one might be coming back with a hold on where that flag is. It's thrown up at about the 22, 23-yard line. And a hold on the offense is the call.
That was really late.
Very late. The play was already dead, it looked like, and then they threw the flag.
Maybe he couldn't find the flag out of his flag belt.
All right, it'll be 1st and 17 from about the 13-yard line. Newman drops back to pass. He looks to his right, and he's got Anderson on a comeback. Tackled at the 25-yard line by number 81, Simon Willis.
Nice route, nice throw. That ball came, it had some zip on it. And Anderson was open because he was able to sit and wait on that ball to come. If Crew had the chance to do it again, he would throw it just a little bit sooner, give him some time to get out of that catch.
Here's a screen to Smith. He's dangerous in the open field. He breaks one tackle, trying to break another, and he's brought down at the 48-yard line of Sandy by Gabe Taman.
This is that reload that we talked about. This is what we're seeing here. This is exciting football, and it's not the same guys that we're used to seeing. It's just Ram football.
That's good for a Central Catholic first down.
Anderson and May, the receivers on the near side. Newberry in the backfield with Newman. First time we've seen him in the backfield. Newman has to roll out to his left with the defense collapsing on him. He's got wheels. Look out. He's in the middle of the field breaking a couple of tackles. And Rotian will take him down with the help of Peyton Justo at the 22-yard line. A huge pickup for the junior quarterback.
He's hard to stop, and we have been blessed to be able to just watch him grow right before our eyes. As a freshman, he was getting time, and then as a sophomore, he had a great year, and now this is something special.
Talking with Coach Bryan, he hasn't gotten a whole bunch of looks from the schools right now at the next level. Newberry takes the handoff to the left side of the line, tackled at about the 19-yard line. Tackle made by Thompson.
And I can tell you right now, it's all about his size. It's nothing to do with his arm, his heart, his knowledge of the game. It's all about his size. The schools are they have a prototypical quarterback in mind, and that's the only reason why they're not sort of knocking down his door.
Newman will look left. He's got a wide open receiver near the goal line. It looked to be Galen. Tackled near the one. Correction, it's number 21 on the catch, Palmer Davison. And it looked to be that they were playing some type of zone right there because Davison found the pocket near that sideline and there was not a defender near him. The safety had to come over and make the play.
Great route, I call it hesitation route.
Hand off to Newberry to the left side. Stays on his feet after spinning out of one tackle, and eventually he's brought down with a loss of 2. Frustration with himself. Tackle made by Garrett Willenberg.
You sort of would want to see him just take that angle and then put that foot in the ground and make a quick little beeline towards the goal line. He sort of strung it out just a little bit further than he should have, and I'm sure that's what he's mad at himself about.
So we've got Davison, May, and Anderson, the receivers on the near side. Now an empty backfield for Crew Newman. 2nd and goal from the 4-yard line. Newberry and Smith split out wide to the left. Fake to the screen. It's a QB draw. Newman tries to juke one defender, and he's met by a pack of Pioneers. In on the tackle, it was number 14, Alex Hager. And Jared Mayo, number 9, also in on the tackle.
Sometimes you just got to give it up to the defense. That was a good defensive play. It looked like they had a sort of a spy, if not one, but 2 spies on Crew Newman right there, and they were not going to let him run the ball and pick up that touchdown.
Well, that's the end of the first quarter. That was a quick first quarter between these two teams. 2 possessions for Central Catholic. They're in the middle of their second possession, but it was Sandy who drove down the field chunk play by chunk play and ate up a lot of that clock, but unfortunately they came up empty on their lone possession there, and that's something that they cannot fall into a habit to if they want to keep up with Central Catholic, especially with how the Rams are moving the football right now.
Right. The Rams are going to score. They're going to score the football, and as Pioneers, you're going to have to try to match them. It's going to be hard to stop them. You're just going to have to try to match them, and that last possession could come back to hurt them. I'd be interested to see this play call right here. You get opportunity, a natural timeout here to sort of think about it. You get a little bit longer. What are you going to do? I would imagine they'll put the ball in the hands of Crew Newman and have some type of read pass option. Your receivers have been able to get open, and let's see what he can come up with.
what we've mainly seen out of the run game for Central Catholic is they've been stretching it outside the line instead of pounding it in between those tackles. Haven't seen much of a push on that front line, though, yet, and I'm sure we'll pick up on it as the game goes along. Solomon McDaniel in at tight end on the right side. Anderson at the top of your screen.
I'm looking for Zael Smith.
Smith is on the near side. Here's a little pop pass to McDaniel, and just off of his fingertips. They had it on the play action pass. He was wide open, and Newman just overthrew him.
Just overthrew him. Like you said, he was wide open, and sometimes when you're that wide open as a receiver, you sort of break your route off like, I'm open right now. Don't lead me or anything. And so this a little bit off by both the receiver and the quarterback. But that's a play to mark. As a caller, as a play caller, you mark that with a star, and you come back to that play at some point in this game.
Central Catholic with 117 yards in that first quarter, 75 on the ground, 38 through the air. Newman drops back, 4th and goal from the 4, and no call in the end zone. Nico May wanted a flag called, and that'll be a turnover on down for the Central Catholic Rams. A rare moment where the Rams don't convert inside the red zone. They've been so efficient over the last few seasons when they get to the red zone, and here they come up empty.
And right there, those last 2 plays, they were open. They were there. You know, it's one of those surgery was a success, but the patient still passed. Right there, he's open. And the play right before that, the guy was open. They just did not connect.
Yeah, you know Newman's going to be kicking himself by missing McDaniel on that pop pass to the tight end. So Billy Lucas will stand by himself near the goal line. In fact, he's in the end zone now for Sandy.
Giving a lot of instructions to that one receiver.
Mello came in from covering the slot back, and they got movement on the defensive line, exactly what Sandy needed to get that pressure off the goal line from their back.
Penalty markers on the play.
You know, the hard count. I personally think more high schools should use the hard count. Again, we're talking about teenagers who sometimes lose focus, and you can pick up cheap yards throughout the course of the game with just that hard count.
Caden Porter, the receiver on the near side, pistol formation for the Sandy Pioneers. Willenberg in motion, handoff to Rotzian up the middle. Mello in on the tackle. Along with, it looks like, number 67, Kainoa Hayes.
That's when Rotzian has been at his best right there, just sort of, let's say, running behind his pads and just getting up the field. Not trying to do many jukes, just getting up the field.
Another 3-yard chunk play for him. 2nd and 2 from the 12-yard line. Willenberg, hand on the ground, hand off to Rotzian to the left side, just inside the tackle. And he'll be brought down at the 18-yard line, enough for a first down and a pickup of 5. It'll be 1st and 10.
He's running hard, but he's taking some big hits too, you know, and over the course of the game, that starts to take its toll.
It's good for a Sandy, 1st down.
Hager, the back just to the left of Lucas, hand down on the ground. Rotzian again lining up behind the quarterback, gets the handoff to the left side, just off tackle. And brought down by number 53, Patrick Phelps.
Patrick Phelps in on the tackle.
Nice tackle right there. As you and the big fella back there, you have to make that tackle, and Phelps made it for his team. If he doesn't make that tackle, that's an easy 1st down.
Pickup of 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 from the 21-yard line. That's his 12th carry on the night so far. Lucas now alone in the backfield. 3 receivers to the right with a tight end down. Lucas looks to his right and almost intercepted through a couple of hands of the Rams, and it's brought in by number 81, Simon Willis. a missile of a pass right there. I'm not sure how it beat the defenders. 2 sets of hands looked like it went in front of that ball, and the Pioneers still end up with it.
Either that was a great pass with amazing accuracy, or it was a bad pass that worked out well, because like you said, 2 sets of hands go in front of the ball. If the ball was where it's supposed to be, that would have been a pick 6, but it was high and only where his receiver could catch it.
Willenberg and Rotzian in the backfield now for Sandy. Rotzian, handoff to the left side, has an opening. Rumbling, bumbling, stumbling his way to the 35-yard line, and eventually the Rams take him down. That will be a fresh set of downs now for the Pioneers. They will mark him down at the 34-yard line. They stopped his forward progression.
Yeah, he is the workhorse, the obvious workhorse. It looks like they want to get the ball in his hands as often as possible, and he doesn't look like he's tiring yet. He's moving that crowd.
And you have to wonder, when are they going to work that play action in for Sandy, because they keep running that ball over and over again. Willenberg next to the quarterback, Lucas. Hand off again to Rotzian, this time to the right side, and he's met in the backfield. Davis was there along with Solomon McDaniel. And a loss of 2 on the play. So it'll be 2nd and 12 from the 32.
Good push right there by the Rams front 4. They were able to, like we mentioned earlier, make him start going east to west, and when they have done that, then they've had success as far as the Rams defense. And another opportunity right there, 2-yard loss.
Rotzian now has 14 carries for 38 yards, as there was a timeout on the field. It was Garrett Willenberg who was slow to get up, but he's walking off on his own power now, and you have to wonder, probably a cramp with the way he's moving. He seems to be fine now, but you never know.
And I would never be one to say that a student or a kid is sort of stalling, but Rotzian was really tired after that play. He had his hands on his hips. He was sort of looking to see if he was going to get a break, and now he got himself a natural timeout. He might even have come out anyway.
And you have to wonder for Rotzian, and now we have a different running back there. It's number 30, Matayo Owamua.
He's a little guy. I don't think he's going to get the ball here.
Lucas scrambling to his right, got a block from the referee, and the pass is completed to Alex Hager for a completion of about 5 yards. There is a flag, and illegal formation, it looked like, is what they called.
Number 30, he comes in for Rotzian, and he's back there, and he's moving a little bit. He's a little anxious back there, and he was moving before the ball was snapped. He probably was a little anxious right there. I mean, I can't imagine he gets very much playing time if you're playing behind Rotzian.
Right.
So now he's in there in a big game like this, and he's a little bit jittery.
So it'll be 2nd and 17 from the 27-yard line now for Sandy. The math doesn't check out with those 3-yard chunk plays now. So trips left set up for the Pioneers. Tight end down on the right side. Owamua, the running back in the backfield with Lucas. Lucas rolls to his left, squares up, throws, and almost intercepted. It's broken up by number 16, Luke Baker. He was reading the quarterback's eyes the entire way, saw the break from the receiver. He made the break himself, and unfortunately he came up empty.
Yeah, that was a nice read right there by on Baker's part. He like you said, he read the ball, he jumped around the receiver, he had the ball in his hands, but that's a tough play to make. It's a great defensive play, but a tough interception to make. Looks like they picked up the flag that they had thrown.
Penalty is declined, brings up 3rd down.
Penalty was declined by the Rams, so it'll be 3rd and 17 from the 27-yard line. Ball's on the far hash.
We haven't seen Rotzian for the last 3 possessions.
Owamua in the backfield again. Lucas drops back to pass, looks to his left, and he hits Thompson. They get back to the original line of scrimmage before Thompson's brought down by Ty Jones on the sideline. So it'll be 4th and 10 from about the 34-yard line.
They've gone for it on some 4th downs, and they've all been 4th and short. 4th and 10 is a little bit different than 4th and 2 or 4th and 1.
And one thing I've noticed, even with the passing for Sandy, they haven't had the big pass play. Those are plays for about 4 or 5 yards that they've completed. So Thompson back to kick. Smith and Williams back to receive the punt. This one will roll all the way down inside the 10-yard line. A great punt for Thompson and Sandy as it goes down to the 6-yard line for Central Catholic.
It's a great break right there for the Pioneers. You know, that punt wasn't one of the beauties. You're not going to make a highlight film out of that punt, but it was very effective and got the nice roll all the way down here inside the 10-yard line.
It doesn't always have to be the prettiest punt as long as it gets the job done.
Right.
Only the Aussies get style points for rolling out on the punt. All right, 3rd drive now for the Rams. The last drive stalled out inside the 5-yard line on 4th and goal. Galen in the backfield with Crew Newman. Trips right formation. Newman. Pump fakes to his right. Now he's going for the deep pass. He's got Blake Anderson near the sideline. He's at the 50 and taken down at the 43-yard line. A huge pickup for the Rams as they move down the field and into Sandy territory.
That was designed from the beginning. You could just sort of see how they came running out of the huddle. The receivers were excited. Just their approach to the line of scrimmage, you knew that something big was in store.
May and Smith, the receivers on the near side.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again.
Look for it. Newman going to be passing again, this time in the middle of the field, intended for Ziel Smith, and goes off of his hands, felt the defender coming in, and it's broken up by number 8, Peyton Justo.
Peyton Justo covering defensively for Sandy.
We've seen that play happen so many times with young receivers, but it's tough to really build yourself up for that hit when you know the defender is coming in on you. Over the middle of the field, here's a handoff to Cade Galen. Both ends got around easily on the line, and so Galen is met in the backfield. It'll be a loss of 1. Tackle made by number 3, Gabe Tamand, and number 61, Aaron Menchaca Olivias with the tackle. So 3rd and 11 after that big pass play from the opponent's 44-yard line. And with Central Catholic, you have to think this might be 4-down territory with how this offense has been moving the ball until these last couple of plays.
I like the Blake Anderson matchup.
They're going deep again for Blake Anderson, and just out of his reach. They had it. That's twice now. Newman has been so accurate from what we've seen over the past couple of seasons. That one just out of the reach of Blake Anderson. It looked to be a skinny post route that he was running there.
You know, and it's just a little bit of timing. You know, Blake Anderson is probably a step slower right now after running that 50-yard play earlier. If that was the first play from scrimmage right there where Blake Say is coming off the sideline, his speed is at his normal speed, he runs that down. But with it being like the 3rd play in this possession right here, I think he's just a little bit, maybe 1 step slower, and that's what you have right there. 1 step away from 6 points.
So now we've got Zeke Vantoff back to punt for Central Catholic. Crew Newman on the night so far, 4 of 9 for 87 yards. Punt for Central Catholic. More high than far, and takes a bad bounce for the Rams in favor of the Pioneers. It'll be touchdown at the 37-yard line.
You know, that punt didn't net very many yards, and you're going to take a look, and most people are going to say, you know what, man, what's wrong with the punter? A bad punt right there. But it started with the snap. You know, so they worked together. You know, the long snapper and the punter worked together. He had to sort of step to the left, get down, almost on one knee, make the catch, and wasn't able to sort of get in his normal punting rhythm.
Lucas waiting for the shotgun snap. Hand off to Rotsian. He's back in the game and met in the backfield. First by Carpenter, but it looked like he was brought down by Zugobelu.
Below on the tackle.
Now that line is starting to get pressure, starting to win the battle. You've seen in the first quarter, sort of that Pioneer line was winning, but right now the Rams line is winning up front.
Creeping up on 5 minutes until halftime. Rotsian in the backfield on the right side of Lucas. Two receivers to the left. Quick pass to the near side to Thompson on a curl route, and he'll be brought down by Smith and by Cade Galen.
Smith with the tackle. That's good for Sandy, first down.
You know, you asked about Sandy in that play action and going deep or sort of opening up. I don't know if that's really in their office. I think their passing game is really about this short, quick passes and just sort of get the ball in the hands of Thompson. It doesn't look like they're going to have a whole lot of time back there, so I think that's probably what we'll see more from their passing game.
Well, Lucas now 8 of 10 for about 59 to 60 yards now. 63 yards as he completes another pass, and a flag comes in. The tackle was made by number 19, Henry Osborne, and made contact with the head, it looked like. Justo on the catch. And there's two different flags on the play. There's one at the line of scrimmage and another one at the 48-yard line. We have a personal foul against Central Catholic. And that'll be the only penalty called.
Well, that's a tough call. I understand it. I totally understand it. You got to really want to protect players from getting hit in the head. And sometimes, you know, it looks like in that play he caught the ball. The defender is coming to make a tackle, and as he's coming low, now the receiver has been tackled. And so the receiver helmet is sort of coming down at that level, and then they sort of bang helmets. Definitely not anything intentional. It just sort of happens in the play of the game.
Fourth penalty on Central Catholic for 45 yards in today's game. Olamua to the right of Lucas. Rotsian behind him. And some confusion with the snap. Lucas has to take it. He'll get a small gain of about 2 yards. It'll make it 2nd and 8.
Lucas on the keeper.
It'll be from the 31-yard line.
Not an ideal play for the Pioneers, but it could have been worse.
With all that motion that was going around the quarterback right there, that ball easily could have ended up on the ground. Roche in the handoff up the middle. Central Catholic not fooled. Maybe a pickup of 1 on the play. It'll be 3rd and 7 from the 30-yard line.
You know, as you said, the Rams are not fooled right there, and they shouldn't be fooled at any time that the ball is handed off to Rotsian. That's like the first read, because they want to give the ball to him, and he has been productive. So you can believe they're going to keep giving the ball back to him. Looks like, oh yeah, he's still in there right now.
Yeah, Willenberg, who was injured earlier on their last drive for Sandy, just left the field, and coming in was Alex Hager to replace him. So here it is, 3rd and 7. Rolling out to his right, it's Lucas, stops, plants, throws, got a man wide open, it's Thompson near the goal line, tackled at the 5. Galen on the tackle. And they are going to mark Thompson down at the 7-yard line, so it'll be 1st and goal from the 7 for the Sandy Pioneers. And the play action pays off for them.
There you go, right there. You asked for it, or you asked about it, and there it is. And it was perfectly executed. Couple misdirections, and found Thompson dragging across the field. Great play call.
And now Coach Dill running down and wanting a timeout. There was some confusion right there by the backup running back, Matayo Olamua. He thought he had to go off the field while Lucas was telling him he needed to line up a wide out so they could get 11 men on the field. And Coach Dill, with 2 minutes left to go until halftime, burns his first time out.
You know, and if you're going to use one, that's a good time to use it. Right here, this is a big possession for the Pioneers, and you can't make any mistakes. Those are mental mistakes. Not knowing if you're supposed to be on the field, who's on the field, and you better use your timeouts in those situations.
So just, exactly 2 minutes until halftime. It'll be 1st and goal from, looks to be the 7-yard line for Sandy. They trail 7-0. Sandy, again, looking for their first win of the season. They haven't scored in about 82 minutes of their last couple of games going into last week against Tigard. They lost 45-0. That game actually had to get moved because of power outages, worrying because of the high winds and the fires that were going on last week. So that Friday night game moved to Saturday morning. And unfortunately for Sandy, not much really helped them out there. So now they have a chance. They're knocking on the door of the end zone from the 7-yard line.
And Rotsian's not in.
Rotsian's not in. It's Willenberg who's the main back behind Lucas. They hand it off to him. Tries to cut back inside of the defense. Gets about 2 yards, taken down at the 5-yard line.
Willenberg's a big back, too. He's sort of, I guess, would call the goal line back. 220 pounds. He's going to be tough to bring down as well.
Kainoa Hayes was in on the tackle. Now you're talking about Willenberg. 5'10", 220 pounds. That's a stocky kid right there. Definitely hard to bring down. You're going to need multiple tacklers up on him. Rotsian back in. He's the featured back next to Lucas.
I would think the ball is going to Rotsian.
Rolling out. They're probably looking for Thompson near the goal line, and they throw it to Thompson. Does he make the catch in the end zone? And they're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. That is tough for Sandy because Thompson looked like he was in the end zone as he was trying to make that catch, and his momentum brought him forward as he tried to meet the ball. He knocked down the pylon. Usually that's the dead giveaway for a touchdown on where he was. But instead they're going to mark him at the 1-yard line. So 3rd and goal and a long yard.
See if this Rams defense can stand up right here, make a big stop.
They've got Hager as the fullback, 5'11", 235. Rotsian is the running back behind Lucas. Handoff to Rotsian up the middle. And he pounds his way through the line, and the Pioneers are on the board. With 1 minute left to go until halftime, Sandy is within an extra point of tying this game up at 7-all.
You know, and they're really excited about scoring right there, and they should be. They put together a nice drive, held this Rams offense to 7 points at this point in the half, and drove the length of the field. Or actually, I'm sorry, I don't remember exactly where that drive started, but they drove the field in nice fashion.
Oh, fire play, bad snap, ball is loose. Central Catholic can't pick it up. And there's no advancement on the play as it was picked up by Ziel Smith. And Sandy, just as they get the momentum of a touchdown, a low snap intended for the holder, Landon Davis, causes an audible, and it goes poorly for Sandy. So it'll be 7-6 in favor of Central Catholic, and you have to wonder if that will be the final factor in today's game, possibly with how close it's been, with Central Catholic unable to punch it in offensively. The defense bending a bit here in this game, not necessarily breaking until that last run. But here we are, 60 seconds until halftime. Let's see if Central Catholic has any magic to extend this lead.
Hey, I wouldn't run it past them. You know, you have, was that Williams back there as well as Smith, and those two guys can take it to the house. You know, you have a lot of playmakers on the offense, so if you can get this ball, you'll have close to a minute left with a great quarterback like Crew Newman. I would not be surprised if they ran down and scored. You know, and that PAT right there, like you said, it may come back to haunt them. This type of a game right here, every play is critical. And you talk about playing offense, defense, and special teams, and that play right there could really come back to hurt the Pioneers.
Torres with the kick right to Williams at the 5-yard line. He's going to go up the middle of the field. He's got an opening. He's got blockers out in front of him. He's at the 40-yard line, at the 50, across midfield. He's trying to get a couple of blockers in front of him. He beats the kicker, cuts back inside. He's at the 15, 10, 5, and touchdown, Williams. Just as you called it, partner. A kickoff return for a touchdown after the Sandy touchdown. And all that momentum that the Pioneers just worked for, immediately back on the side of the Rams on a kickoff return for a touchdown after 95 yards.
Wow, that was exciting right there. Again, he read the hole. He went right up the middle. You can see they probably had some type of a wedge return up the hole, and then you take it to the outside, and then he let his speed take over right there. That's Ram football.
Vantoff now on for the extra point. Galen set to hold. Kick is up and through the uprights and good. So that will make it 14-6. And indeed, the Rams extend that lead just before the half.
Man, I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel bad for Sandy, but you know they had an opportunity right there to go into the locker room down by 1 with all the momentum, but all that momentum changed, and like you said, it is now headed down 26.
Now the one bright spot for Sandy after that last drive, they had some connection going in the passing game with Thompson and Lucas, so 44 seconds left. We'll see, maybe they could get into field goal range, but we already saw Torres miss a 45-yard field goal. That was a pretty long kick for the young man.
And then they just had a bad exchange on the PAT, so I'm not too sure Coach Deal is very confident in his kicking team at this moment. So it'll also be interested to see if they even come out and try to pass the football. These are the times when you create turnovers for yourself, just trying to get back in it. And sometimes it's just best to take a knee and go into the half.
So Robertson set to kick off for Central Catholic.
Ball Robertson to kick for the Rams.
Olamua back for the Pioneers. High kick to Olamua, taken at the 6, and he botches it. Picks it back up at the 5-yard line. And there should be a flag for a block in the back. The Newberry just got blindsided, and there's a late flag. There's a couple of late flags right there that come in now for, well, I'm not quite sure what happened near the 40 or the 35-yard line, but I saw a clear block in the back at the 15-yard line.
Number 32, after the play, you could actually call him for throwing some punches, you know. He got into a little talking trash, and then he sort of slapped him in the helmet a couple times. I can't see who it was from the Rams that he slapped in the helmet, but the referee saw it. And as you said, laundry coming from all over the place.
I mean, everybody saw that play. Right. Every ref had their flag out on the field after that.
Haven't seen that much laundry since my college dorm.
37 seconds left until halftime. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. And now I think they go back to what you were just alluding to before that kickoff return, probably running out the clock here instead of having a pass. Had that been a solid return, maybe something different, but now they're backed up inside their own 15-yard line. Hand off for Rotian, who goes across the quarterback. He's pushed back by Davis, the sophomore, showing out right now as he pushes out Rotian at the 5-yard line.
And, you know, and this is what I like about Coach Pine. He has 3 timeouts. The Pioneers, they've already had the lead 14-6. Some coaches would just let the clock run out. Not Coach Pine. You're going to have to play. You're going to have to play these last 30 seconds out. He feels like his defense could maybe make a play, or even they get the stop, and their offense can get the ball with 10, 15 seconds left. And we already know what they can do.
Well, Zach Davis is having himself a day at the outside linebacker position. And that's where they lost Amarian Winston from last season's team, who's now playing at the University of Oregon. So he's moving up, but I'm just really impressed with how Davis is playing right now. He seems to have a nose for the football, making plays left and right. And again, just only a sophomore for the young man.
Yes, that's what I wanted to look up. He's a sophomore, and he's, like you said, making plays like this. And he has a nose for the football, you see, and he wants to be in there making plays. He wants to make plays behind the line of scrimmage. We talked about it a little bit earlier. You know, he's in there with bad intentions, and Pioneers may want to run away from him, away from Zach Davis. A little confusion right here.
Rotian has 18 carries. Now 6 of them have gone for negative yardage, so he's been tackled a lot in the backfield. Fake pass and a handoff at the 1. And it looked like Rotian just tried to get the ball out of the goal line. Correction, it's not Rotian, it's Willenberg, number 22, on some misdirection from Sandy, but Central Catholic was not misdirected.
They wasn't. That's the thing about misdirection. Misdirection is only misdirection if the guys are misdirected. And they weren't misdirected. You know, you mentioned it earlier in the pregame, just talked about the type of pressure that the Rams received last week against Bosco. Was like as soon as the ball was in Crew Newman's hands, he had guys in his face. This is what's happening now to the Pioneers. The Rams are getting that pressure, and as you see right there, as soon as they hand the ball off to Rotian, I can't remember what number was right there to make that play.
Well, now the ball is inside the 1 yard line. In fact, the nose of the football can't be more than a few inches from that goal line. So if the Rams can get another big push, not only will it force them, should be 3rd down if I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be 3rd down and about 20 yards. And if you stop them now you have to try to punt the ball. The punter doesn't have his full distance. Anything can really happen if you get a good push on that line. This is a pressure situation for Sandy with 23 seconds left until halftime. They're on their own goal line.
I would anticipate. Watch the quick pass.
Receiver in motion.
Uh-oh.
It's Justo and a flag and a false start.
So they'll move the ball back.
It didn't even look like he lifted up the ball right there.
Just picked it up and set it back down.
Almost the bare minimum on that last play as the flag was thrown on the false start. So it goes from 3 inches to 1.5 inches to the goal line. Rotian is the back with Lucas as the quarterback. 2 receivers and a tight end on the far side of the field. It's a quick slant to Thompson, and he dropped it near the 8-yard line.
Brings up 4th down. Great series of plays right there by the defense. Everything about that is what coach is going to be able to look at the film and show and really build on. They pushed them back into the what is this, the half-yard line?
And from this angle, it even looks like the nose of the football is over the goal line right now.
And the punter has no room. They still are able. The Rams still have a timeout. Everything about that defensive stop right there was big. And you have weapons back here to receive this punt.
You've got Smith and Williams back to receive the punt. They're inside the 40-yard line of Sandy. Looks like only 4 are going to be rushing the punter here. End-over-end punt landing at the 30. Smith will take it on the run. He's at the 30-yard line, inside the 20 now, and he will be taken out at about the 14-yard line. Yes, that's exactly what they'll mark him out. 8 seconds left on the clock. You've got your timeouts. You might be able to run one play to the end zone. Otherwise, you might have to go with your special teams. And granted, it'll be about, let's see, we're at the 14-yard line, 31-yard field goal, roughly, if they decide to go that route.
Well, I believe they're going to take a shot into the end zone. They still have a timeout.
Exactly.
You know, and you work on these plays every day in practice. You sort of, you know, work on your 2-minute drill, get down, call a timeout. You don't need to fight for extra yardage. You got a veteran quarterback. You know he's calm under pressure.
3 receivers to the top of the screen, Anderson, May, and Davison. You've got Ziel Smith, bottom of the screen. Newman looks right, comes back. He's got to throw that ball. There's 3 seconds left towards the end zone. And did he make that catch? He does! Touchdown for Blake. Or no, it's Nico May.
Nico May, I make this touchdown.
Stick him on the hands.
Wow.
You and I just pushing each other back here, knowing that Newman had to throw the ball with only 8 seconds on the clock at the start of the play. And he finds his man in the end zone. It's Nico May as Vantoff on for the extra point. The kick is up, and it is good. And the Rams, it was 7-6. Not even 60 seconds ago on the game clock. In fact, there was 44 seconds on the game clock when Williams returned the kick for the touchdown to make it 14-6. A couple smart timeouts by Central Catholic, pinned Sandy deep, and they were able to get a last-second touchdown before the half to make it 21-6.
You know, and who was going to probably be in the most trouble when the Pioneers get into the locker room is number 32, Wayne Zimmerman. Remember, they had punted. They had the ball at the 25-yard line. He got a personal foul penalty, and every coach that's worth his salt hates personal foul penalties. They always come back to haunt you, and right there took them back. The Rams made the great defensive stop, and now you go from 7-6 to 21-6, all momentum back in the Rams locker room.
It's just a mental mistake right there. It's something that's so preventable for Sandy, and it comes back to hurt them just before the half. It's 21-6. Central Catholic has a lead. We'll be back in about 15 minutes for the start of the second half.
Next up, the varsity song leaders.
Welcome back to Hillsboro Stadium. Bryan Sleik, James Broadous with your call. Halftime is about a minute away from passing. It's 21-6 in favor of Central Catholic over the Sandy Pioneers. And an interesting first half between these two teams. Central Catholic received the opening kickoff. They went down and scored in about a minute and 18 seconds, and then nothing else really happened for the next 12 to 15 minutes inside the game. Central Catholic got denied inside the 5-yard line of Sandy's goal line. Sandy stalled on their first drive. That didn't come up with any points. And then it came down to about the final minute of play. Sandy drove down the field, scored a touchdown with 44 seconds left to go in the half. Unfortunately, a botched extra point made it 7-6. So you're thinking 44 seconds left. You'll go into halftime down 1. Not quite. Williams had another idea for Central Catholic, returned the kickoff 95 yards for a touchdown, and then a doozy of a penalty put Sandy back on the kickoff. The next time around, Central Catholic's defense pinned them back on their own goal line, and they were able to get another touchdown as time expired, and that's how they got to the 21-6 lead. Robertson set to kick off. Kick taken at the 4-yard line. Going up the middle. Willis on the return. He'll be taken down at the 27-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Sandy.
It's going to be hard for Sandy to bounce back from that last minute in the first half. When they had all the momentum, they scored a touchdown, they were dancing and cheering, they were really excited, and then the wheels fell off in that last minute of the half. Let's see how they respond, see if Coach Deal can get his team back into competition.
Sandy had 91 yards of passing offense, 22 yards on the ground for a total of 112. Play action pass up the seam and intercepted by Blake Anderson. He's still on his feet. He's at the 45-yard line now, going towards the sideline. He's got a couple of blockers. He's cutting back inside. Flags are all over the field, and he's tripped up at the 20-yard line by number 77, Gabe Rue, who probably saved a touchdown on a pick-6 opportunity by Blake Anderson. We'll see what the flag is, but it'll be first down for Central Catholic with 2 flags at the 40-yard line.
I like that kid, Blake and Balaki Anderson. You know, he's making one-hand interceptions. He's making big plays on offense. And when he gets the ball, he's trying to score. You know, a lot of people will be happy they got an interception and just go down. He's trying to get that ball into the house and give his team another 6 points.
Yeah, so we've got flags, 2 of them at the 40. We had another one at the 30-yard line. So this return will be coming back, but a great effort from Blake Anderson. Well, he intercepted the ball at around the 48-yard line, but Central Catholic will take over at their own 45-yard line on the near hash.
You know, defensively, when you end up getting an interception and now you're running, these defenders, they're just used to hitting, and there's not a lot of rules against hitting on defense. But now when you have the ball, you have to be a blocker, and sometimes they'll hit in the back, they'll hold, they'll do everything that they're not supposed to do, just being excited that their teammate has an interception.
Trips right formation. Galen in the backfield next to Crew Newman. First turnover of today's game on that interception. Newman, feeling the pressure on his arm side, rolls out to his left and fumbles as he goes out of bounds. No flag thrown as a couple of players hit the deck. And what was 1st and 10 is now 2nd and 2 on Sandy's side of the 47-yard line.
Newman is a tough guy, you know, but as any coach would tell you, you're on the sideline, you might as well just go out of bounds, no need to take any extra hits. But he's not shying away from any.
Handoff to Galen. He's got the blockers out in front of him, and he gets tackled at the 33-yard line. In on the tackle was Hager. He was also pushed out by number 81, Simon Willis. Three receivers on the far side. It's May, Jones, and Abraham. Pass into the flat and over the head of Ty Jones, the intended receiver. Galen now has 4 carries for 27 yards in the game.
And he's running the ball well. You know, just the pass has been working pretty well for the Rams. And so, you may not get as many carries, but if they needed to run this ball, I'm sure there's a lot of confidence in Galen in the way he's running today.
Another handoff to Galen. We've got a flag thrown, most likely a hold. Spins to stay inbounds, eventually pushed out by Willis.
And that's one of those conversations that the running back and the lineman has. The running back says, "Why are you holding? I don't need you to hold. I just ran for 12 yards. And the lineman says, "Well, you ran for 12 yards because I was holding."
Mm-hmm.
And, you know,
there's some give and take there.
Right, there's a little give and take.
Central Catholic backs themselves up. It'll be 2nd and 25 now.
These are the plays that receivers really like. This is when Blake Anderson licks his lips.
Screen set up for Galen, and another flag thrown out. This one will be coming back as he's taken down at the 35-yard line by a Pioneer defender who's still on the ground. He seems to be hurting pretty bad. Led with his shoulder as he made contact with Galen going out of bounds, and he is yet to get up. The Pioneer trainer now sprinting across the field.
As you see, the Central Catholic coaches and trainer are right there to help as much as they can until the Pioneer trainer gets over. Again, another sign of great sportsmanship.
Another flag on Central Catholic, so what was 2nd and half a mile is now 2nd and a mile.
If there's stairs to be ran at Central, you can believe that the offense will be running stairs at the next practice. There's nothing more that a coach hates than this penalty after penalty, and that's what's happening on this drive.
I mean, it's 2nd and 31 right now.
Jeez.
7 penalties for 75 yards. 4 of those penalties have gone on the 15-yard variety. As Peyton Justo is still slow to come off the field right now. That's why play is held up.
The Rams, they do, you say that you don't have a play in your playbook for 2nd and 31 or things like that, but the Rams have big-time players. They may not get it all in one play, but they have the personnel to get it back in 2 plays.
I stand corrected. It's 2nd and 42. They're going for it all in one play and off the hand of Ziel Smith near the 30-yard line. He put out one hand. He got his paw on it, but he was unable to bring it in. It'll be 3rd and 42.
Just misjudged a little bit right there by Ziel. Sort of looked like he went into the mode of I got this, and then at the last minute he realized it's a little bit further than it was. I know, again, if he had that back, he would continue running that route at the speed that he took off at.
Well, you have to wonder maybe a screen here to make up some yardage before you punt the ball again.
Oh, they're going deep again.
They're going deep again. Nobody's covering the slot right now on the near side. Newman looks over the middle. They're going deep again, this time for Blake Anderson, and he's got it. He hauls it in at the 30-yard line. He falls forward. We'll see where they mark him down at the 29-yard line. And I'm assuming you're plugged into Coach Pine's headset right now.
They saw that. They knew that they could beat him, and so this time they bring Blake Anderson over here instead of running Ziel again, who's a little bit tired, and now Blake just runs past his corner.
4th and 4, and they just drew an offsides penalty on the hard count from Crew Newman. Let's see if they call a false start or an offsides.
Looks like an offsides.
And it'll be offsides, and that's an automatic first down. You went from 3rd and 42 to a first down after a 38-yard reception to Blake Anderson and a offsides penalty by Sandy. Hand off to Newberry on the left side. Outside the numbers and pushed out of bounds, wrapped up and twisted up by number 29, Treviso.
What do you think Coach Deal from the Pioneers is more upset about? The big pickup, the chunk play for 38 yards, or that fourth down?
The penalty.
The penalty.
It has to be the penalty. I mean, it's easy yardage that you gave up, and there wasn't even a play ran on fourth down. It's tough right now for Sandy. The momentum was sucked away from you after you scored your touchdown on a kick return, and then it's been all Central Catholic since. Smith lost his defender, makes a move, and he extends for the end zone, and they give it to him. Touchdown, Central Catholic.
That's called redemption right there. He dropped a sure touchdown that was a few plays ago, and then he gets the ball back in his hands, and he's not going to fall short on this time.
And right now there is a backup DB in on the far side, or excuse me, on the near side, as Peyton Justo, who's the normal starting corner on this side, went out a few plays ago, and now you've got the backup corner in, and Central Catholic took advantage of it on 2 of the last 3 plays.
Yeah, that's a tough cover right there. Even for the starting corner on that side, Gusto, that's a tough cover. But that's just a sign of great coaching. You see that they're coming in with a corner that's inexperienced, that's not your starting corner, and they go to work on him. There's nothing fair about football here. We're not going to take it easy because you're out there and you may be inexperienced, and you got to get your lumps.
So Rosen and Willis will be back to receive the kick from Central Catholic.
Wow, the tide has turned, and I know we'll talk about this a few more times in the second half, and we'll talk about it probably in our recap of the game. But 7-6 with all the momentum, a minute left in the half, and now it's 28-6. And all the steam, all the dancing that they were doing, the electric slide, the robot, they were doing all the dances after that touchdown, and now there's not a lot going on over there.
There have been 21 points scored by Central Catholic in a little over 3 minutes of gameplay.
You're not going to win very many games if you
not
give
too
enough
often.
numbers at that pace.
Olamar and Willis deep.
He likes to.
Olamau with the return. He's at the 20-yard line, and he breaks to the outside, had a couple of blockers, and it'll be taken down at the 31-yard line by Landon Elder.
Landon Elder on the stop.
So let's see if the Sandy offense can get something going here in this second half after their first drive did not go so well. Rotsian had 20 yards in that first half, which is hard to believe because he kept picking up all those chunk yards, but he also got tackled in the backfield about 7 or 8 times in that first half.
Was there always 2 back officials back behind the line of scrimmage back there, or is that new to this year?
I think that's newer. Here's the handoff to Rotsian, and immediately met in the backfield, whipped to the ground by number 67, Kainoa Hayes. And Hayes, a sophomore. 2 sophomores right now for Central Catholic are making a difference on that defensive line, and those are 2 players that when I talked to Coach Pine earlier this week, he said have really made an impact early on in this season. He wasn't sure what type of production he was going to get out of them, but tonight both of them are playing stellar defense.
And they're just going to gain more and more confidence after this game. So the Mount Hood Conference better watch out.
Empty formation, Lucas alone, drops back, throws it towards the sideline and out of the reach of Thompson, the intended receiver. It will be 3rd and 12 from their 29-yard line.
The defense is well rested. You know, they got that long halftime break, and then they came out for 1 play, the interception. The offense did all their work there at the beginning of the 3rd quarter. Now the defense is out, and that line is well rested. They were already playing well at the end of the half, and now right now they can just sort of pin their ears back and get after that quarterback.
Rotsian now has 19 carries on the night for a total of 10 net yards.
told me there wasn't going to be any math, Bryan.
Pass to the sideline, over the head of Willis, out of bounds. There is a flag, though, at the 29-yard line, and with the play continuing to go, you have to think maybe Central Catholic lined up offsides defensively, maybe. Oh, let's say false start. Usually you kill the play on a false start.
Right. Well, maybe it was a late false start.
Isn't that like an oxymoron or something right there? Leighton Thompson back to punt for Sandy. Ziel Smith and Michael Williams back to receive the punt.
I've always liked dual return guys back deep.
And that ball punted by Thompson. It started at the 29-yard line and it went out at the 35, so a punt of 6 yards. It went off the side of his foot. The snap was low, and it kind of went back to what you talked about in the first half. The punter never really had, for Central Catholic, I should say, low snap, got him out of his rhythm and unable to get a good ball off.
Yeah, because, again, and I say this a lot, but you can't overestimate or overthink it. But these are teenagers, and so they get nervous. That ball hits the ground. They're going to pick the ball up, and the first thing they think is that, oh, no, I don't have a whole lot of time. So now it's just trying to kick the ball as fast as you can and worry about where it goes a little bit later. And quite often you end up with these type of kicks or punts.
So it's a short field now for Central Catholic. Twin formation, 2 receivers each side. Snap behind Newman. He gets to it. Out to the far side. It looked to be Nico May on that reception. He does. He's got 8 yards. Hager with the tackle.
You know what I'm impressed with, Bryan?
What is that?
I'm impressed with how fast you can see these numbers out here, man. 'Cause my eyes don't work that fast anymore. When I was your age, I could see numbers too. You're just showing off. I didn't know who caught that ball.
Oh, believe it or not, I just celebrated a birthday. I'm 1 year older from this past Saturday. I'm a whopping 29 years old now. Newman over the middle. He's got Abraham brought down near, looked to be the 13-yard line. That's where they'll mark him down. A first down for Central Catholic.
Newman is on. He's in his groove now. You can see that his pre-snap reads are working. His passes are right on the money. He's feeling real good. And we've seen this guy before. When he gets in a groove, it's hard to stop.
3 receivers on the near side. It's a handoff to Newberry. To the right side, had a blocker in May out there, and he's taken down at the 5-yard line. Rotzian was in on the tackle, and same with another Sandy player who's currently on the ground and injured, out of bounds.
And the trainer had to leave Gusto on the sideline to run down and see how this new player is doing.
Looks like 32 on the helmet, which would be Wayne Zimmerman. And for those of you at home, that one I had to read through the binoculars. That was not just the naked eye right there.
I mean, we have nice seats up here. We can see everything, but I just don't know how you can see those numbers from way over here.
Well, it helps. You've got a dark jersey, light-colored numbers. They pop a bit more. It's not like when we had Barlow last year, white uniforms and the yellow numbers, and you're guessing who is who.
Right. And I was saying, oh, there's no Terry Bradshaw out there throwing the ball. I didn't know who it was. You couldn't see anything.
So it will be second and a short one, possibly inches at the 4-yard line. Nope, now the chain's extended. It is a 1 yard now. Trips left. Hand off to Galen. Right side, and he beats his man to the corner of the end zone. Beats Rotzian, and a rushing touchdown for the Rams. And Cade Galen, it makes it 34-6.
Nice run right there. You know, and mostly every nice run starts with a nice hole or nice blocking. And right there, and again, the guys up front don't get enough credit, but they're controlling the line of scrimmage. And there was a big hole right there for Cade Galen, and all he had to do was run through it, and that's what he did.
Cade's second touchdown on the night. If I remember correctly, he also had the first touchdown scored in today's game as well, rushing touchdown. But now it's 35-6, a 29-point lead for Central Catholic.
Okay, Galen is a junior as well. So you know, all this is just building. We talked about building confidence, but at the same time, just getting big time experience. You know, and they played Bosco last week, a #2 team in the country, and now you're back here playing against the teams in your own conference. They're just getting better and better and better. We'll see here in a few minutes that coach will start getting some of the younger guys or the guys that don't play as much, get them in the game, and that's how you continue to build experience. That's how you continue to reload instead of rebuilding. These guys get in and, you know, in big-time minutes and be able to get that experience, be ready, prepared for next year.
So Galen has 5 carries for 34 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not only is he producing out on the football field, but he's also a major baseball prospect for Central Catholic.
Gotta love those 2 sport athletes or dual sport athletes. Uh-oh. Who's this guy?
Big man taking the ball.
I love it. There was an opportunity for him to get out of the way and let his little guys catch the ball. He's like, nope.
Number 55 on the return, and that's going to be Uriah Subia.
Yeah, he wants his chance. I just want to block all the time. Did you not see the refrigerator Perry, coach?
Oh, yeah. A little hog ball action. Come on. Pistol formation for Sandy. Tight end on the left side. Willenberg in motion and a flag thrown. Play is stopped. False start on Sandy. And this time they did stop the play before letting it continue on the false start.
They heard you. You should be like the replay official as well.
So Mike Pereira, you want me to be the Mike Pereira of
Pereira.
the OSAA right now?
There you go. It's been a lot of whistles and flags here in this second half. You would think we were at a parade. Jeez.
Yeah, not clean football to say the least between these two. Only 1 turnover though. Trips right with the tight end down. Rotating on the right side of Lucas. Lucas rolls to his right, stops at the hash mark. Throws, perfect spot for Thompson to make that catch. I believe he got his hands underneath it. They're going to give it to him at the 37-yard line. Pickup of about 8 yards. In fact, the Sticks right now are a bit confused. They wanted to move. 5th penalty for Sandy, by the way, for 30 yards, so a bit different than the 7 for 75 that Central Catholic has had so far.
Thompson has proven that he's a big-time receiver. If you throw it his direction, he's going to make a play on it.
Yeah, going into halftime, Thompson had 65 yards, and he's closing in on 90 yards now on the game. Rotsian, this might be one of his longer runs of the game as he picks up those 4 yards for a first down, 4 to 5 yards. At the 41, he's taken down. So fresh set of downs for Sandy.
Rotsian has had the most success with that play right there, running right up the center's tail, in between the center and the guard right there. But when he tried to go outside, it hasn't worked for them. And if I was them, and that's where you would want to keep running him, although you're down by a lot right now, so you're going to have to try to open it up. But
and Rotsian just left the field. Now you've got your 2 big backs, Hager and Willenberg, into the game. Both of them over 225 pounds. Willenberg spins at the point of contact and brought down after a minimal gain of 1 yard. Davis in on the tackle.
We've been saying that all night.
Yeah.
We've been saying that all night. Davis. This guy's had a well of a game.
He's got a motor in him right now. Again, he's all over the field and doesn't even look winded right now as we have about 5 minutes left to go in this third quarter. Empty set right now. Lucas alone in the backfield. Trips left with the tight end down. 2 receivers on the near side. Lucas gets the snap. 2nd and 9 over the middle and off the hands of Willis. And incomplete. That will stop the clock at 4:41. It'll be 3rd and 9 from the 42-yard line.
Lucas, a lot of his passes are coming high. I wonder if that's because he can't see over the line of scrimmage, or I don't know if it's his release point or something, but a lot of the receivers are having to try to make jump catches. If he puts those balls right in his chest, those are nice little pickups right there, and that continues to move the chain. He's going to have to just put a little bit more work in that.
Willenberg sets up as the running back, next to Lucas. Lucas rolls out to his left. Rams in pursuit. The pass in front of Willis, the intended receiver. McDaniels was there as the defender along with Roan Beaupre. It'll be 4th and 9, and quarterback comes off the field, and the punt team now enters for Sandy. And with the Oregon State football rules, if Central Catholic does get another touchdown here, that puts them 35 points ahead in the second half, which would be a running clock. But they have to score a touchdown first. Williams and Smith back to receive the punt from Thompson.
The running clock is my best friend. There we go.
High snap to Thompson. And the receiver showing off his hands to corral that one. The punt, though, again off the side of his foot, rolled to pick up a few more yards than the last one. It'll be 1st and 10. Looks to be at the 45-yard line of Central Catholic.
Some things are consistent. Bad snap to the punter is going to equal bad punt. And that has happened 3 times. We've seen that 3 times a day. 3 bad snaps, 3 bad punts. Everything sort of works in concert with one another here on the football field.
We've got Anderson, May, and Abraham trips right in this formation with Newman as the quarterback. He drops back, rolls to his right. Nobody is open. Abraham way down the field. Newman's going to tuck it and run. He picked up the 1st down. And he was pushed out of bounds by Willis, the cornerback for Sandy. That'll be a 1st down. And moves the ball up to the 40-yard line.
It's good for a Ram, 1st down.
Davison now goes to the far side. Abraham, May, and Anderson trips left formation. Newman now has 4 carries for 40 yards. The handoff to Newberry. Got the edge thanks to a terrific block by that Ram lineman, but unfortunately I think he gets called for a hold at the very end. He held his man all the way down to the end.
Yes, he stayed on that block, and again, those are things that you will see in film and you'd be really proud of. I personally believe that the defender sold that. He's getting blocked, and at the end you just sort of fall down and take the offensive guy down and makes it look like you were getting held.
Staskowski is called for the hold on that one.
At the end of
sophomore
the day,
offensive lineman, by the way.
Sophomore,
another sophomore. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead there, partner.
No, it's all good. At the end of the day, it still means more stairs you're going to be running. It's still a penalty.
There's still a punishment coming.
Yeah.
Trips left for Newman. 1st and 16 from the 46-yard line. Going for a corner shot, and 2 receivers in the area. It was Jones and Abraham, and neither of them can come up with it. And you have to think one of them might have veered just a bit off of their normal route. Usually you don't have 2 receivers in the same vicinity. Almost made that play, though, was Jones with a diving effort.
And both of those guys are pretty new to this. They haven't been out running routes a whole lot in this game. And now they're both kind of hungry to make plays. So that ball is up in the air, and it's a game of 500, whoever gets it.
Quick pass over the middle to Abraham. He's got the first down after a pickup of about 17 yards. They'll make it 18 yards as he's taken down at the 28-yard line, and a fresh set of sticks now for Central Catholic.
Great call, great read. I know one of the coaches, somebody, if it's Coach Pine, I know he makes the calls, but I'm sure someone up in the booth is letting him know that how the defense is playing him, and that's just a great read right there. You know, that's sort of an underestimated bonus as well when you can read the defense, you have great coaching, and you can see what's going to work for you.
Abraham has his second catch on the night. Newberry this time with a run up the middle and a pickup of about 13 as he's taken down at the 15-yard line. And it'll be a first down for Central Catholic. They want to move quickly. They're already up at the line. Trips left formation. Newberry still in the backfield. Newman looks left. They swing it out to Abraham on a screen pass. Davison has the block out in front of him, and Abraham will get pushed out at the 3-yard line. Pushed out by number 6, Lathan Thompson. So first and goal from the 3-yard line. Solomon McDaniel now checks in as the tight end. Trips right formation. Jones, Davison, and May. Again, the tight end on the near side. That's Solomon McDaniel. Newman has Newberry to his right. Hand off to Newberry. Up the middle. Extends as he falls to the ground, and he's got himself a touchdown. Rams extend their lead 41-6 on the 3-yard carry.
So 41-6. Does that make it 35-point lead?
It was 29 plus 6, so that's 35, yeah.
So the clock is going to run?
Yes, it will. Coming out for the PAT, it's Zeke Vantoff.
Chuck, can you tell me how many different Rams have scored today?
That extra point is no good.
Conversion attempt is not good.
What I'm getting at, and when we get these numbers,
spreading the ball around.
They spread around. That's Pine's offense.
So the running backs each have 2. Nico May has a touchdown as well that we had just before the halftime, and then Williams had the kickoff return.
And I feel like I saw a touchdown by Blake Anderson.
If you haven't purchased your ticket, you can enter through the cafeteria doors and get yours.
That's, again, another staple of the of Pine offense and just culture of football here. A lot of guys can, as we say, can eat in Pine's offense, and it keeps guys happy. You wonder how come guys want to come and play for him. You wonder why they're getting transfers over here, because everybody can eat in this type of a system.
So Robertson will now kick off. Olamua and Willis back to receive the kick. Running clock going, just over 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter. Olamua with the return. He's at the 25-yard line, and he's met by a couple of Rams. It looked to be Abraham along with number 17, Luke Anzalotti. Anzalotti, another baseball player for Central Catholic. That'll get some looks and move on to the next level.
And look at that clock just run.
Rhodesian in the backfield with Lucas. Receiver and a tight end on the top side of your screen. Hand off to Rhodesian in the backfield. Cuts up, saw an opening, and he's met by Newberry and a couple of other Central Catholic Rams. McDaniel in on the tackle as well after a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Rotzian is sort of an old school running back. You see him right there as he had his back. He held on to the back of his blocker, held on to the back of his jersey, and let his blocker create a hole for him. Took his 4 yards in a cloud of dust and puts his team in a good position for a first down. Oh well.
Quarterback keeper right there. Could have been a flag called, by the way. I don't know if you noticed on the top side. Thompson was late to get up to the top of the formation, and then he ended up on the line of scrimmage. The next receiver was also on the line of scrimmage, which made him ineligible. So trips bunch formation to the left right now. 3rd and 7. 3rd and 6, we should say, from the 33-yard line. Quick pass to the outside. Caught by number 80, Diego Rios. He's near the first down marker, and they are going to give him the first down. It'll be 1st and 10 for Sandy at their own 38-yard line. And that will be the final few seconds left on the clock here in the 3rd quarter, unless they get a snap off, and that'll be it. So 41-6 is your score at the end of the 3rd quarter. Central Catholic Rams have turned up the offense here in the 2nd half as they've put up 20 points in that quarter alone. And now we'll probably see what you were talking about, James, is getting those backup ends, the second stringers, get them some playing time, which again, just continues to build this program up year after year.
Right, and you can see it even in that possession right there. Defensively, these aren't the same starters that have been in previously the first 3 quarters. And this is pretty much a whole different unit, you know. You may call the starting defense the gold unit and you may call these guys the crimson or maroon or whatever you may have names where coaches always want to have, you know, code names and things like that. But this is a different unit. But this, again, just builds experience. You know, one of the things you said earlier about Zach Davis that I wanted to just go back to, you said that he looked like he wasn't tired, like he was just fresh. And as a coach, that's one of the biggest compliments that you can give to a coach is that your guys are in shape. You know, that you've done a great job of getting them in shape. These guys are, you know, you can see where Sandy was starting to bend over a little bit, starting to pull on their shorts, but not the Rams. They've been in great shape, and they are ready for. There it is.
Oh, pass broken up by number 16, Luke Baker. And that's the second time he's made a break on a pass just like that. And that'll make it 2nd and 10 from the 38-yard line.
He's just a step too far back. He's like sort of bailing a little bit too much, and then he doesn't have enough to be able to get back in front of that ball. He's a little bit like he's concerned that they're going to get past him. I don't think he should be so concerned that they're going to go deep.
Another handoff to Rotzian. Puts his shoulder down right into the shoulder pads of Ty Jones, but Jones will bring him down. It'll be 3rd and 6 from the 42-yard line.
Nice tackle right there. I mean, you got to be ready. If you come in, even though you may be on the 2nd string, you still got to be ready to hit. This is football, and he came in there and he made a big hit on Rotzian.
Play action. Lucas rolls out to his right. Jukes out a defender and chased down from behind by Henry Osborne. The closeout speed came from the near side of the field near the end position and followed Lucas all the way around on the rollout.
Yeah, he never gave up. Again, we talked about pursuit earlier, and that's that drill right there. He stayed in his lane, came after the quarterback. It looks like the quarterback had an opportunity to throw the ball to number 22, but I think he thought number 22 was a lineman. He's a big fella, so he didn't want to throw it to him.
Yeah, Willenberg at 220. It's 4th and 6. Lucas puts a deep ball up in the air for Thompson, and it's broken up. A look by Luke Baker. And a terrific play right there by the DB following that ball, it looked like, and then knocking it out of his hands as the receiver was making contact with it.
Yep, he stayed right in his hip, as they say, and as soon as the receiver put his hands up to catch the ball, Baker put his hands up to deflect the ball. Defense wins.
So Central Catholic will take over on downs. It's now 1st and 10 for the Rams at the 42-yard line. And now we're going to have Luke Baker, who just made that play defensively, come in as the quarterback. Baker, just a sophomore. I feel like we've been saying that grade a lot tonight. Sophomores are making a difference in tonight's matchup. High snap. Gets past Baker, and he does the smart thing and just falls on it instead of trying to make a play and things go worse. Ryan Anthony was the running back with Baker on the high snap.
New center. A little bit nervous.
You lose about 16, 17 yards on that last one, so it'll be about 2nd and 28 from the 40-yard line. Another high snap. Baker just gets it down to his running back, who stays on his feet. It's Anthony falling forward to the 45, so a play that had a chance to be negative turns into a positive.
At some point, you know, as a center, you just got to take a deep breath, settle yourself down. You've snapped the ball a million times in your life right now, so just settle down, get the ball back to the quarterback, and let him do his thing.
Another high snap. This time Baker corrals it. He got hit as he threw it, and the pass is completed to Palmer Davison. He's trying to extend this one into the red zone, and he stopped just short at about the 22-yard line. But Luke Baker, standing in the pocket, got drilled as he threw that pass. There is a flag down at the 38-yard line, though, of Sandy.
Nice pocket. You know, he stayed, like you said, he stayed in the pocket, and he delivered a strike as he was getting hit really hard. You know, you got to give him some credit. But the receiver, Palmer Davison, he comes back to the football, something that every coach teaches a receiver. Don't let the ball come to you. You go and get it. The DB thought he had an interception, but Palmer Davis comes in and attacks that football, makes a nice play, picks up the first down, but once again.
So personal foul was called on Central Catholic, so that brings the ball all the way back again. So 3rd and a mile, 3rd and 22. Not quite as long as that 3rd and 42 that Central Catholic overcame earlier in today's game.
So this is nothing. Is that what you're saying?
Another high snap, yep. And the handoff to Clyde Allen.
Clyde Allen with the ball.
Tackle made by number 64, Dominic Browning, for Sandy. And that'll bring up 4th down and 22. Zeke Vantoff now back to punt. I believe this will be his 2nd attempt on the night. Much better than that first punt that he had. Thompson's going to let this one bounce. And that'll go inside the 20 and down to the 10-yard line. Great punt by Vantoff right there. Got the roll and pinned Sandy deep. And they'll have to go 90 yards to try to score a touchdown here as the clock continues to roll with 5:30 left to go in the game.
Good snap, good punt, you know.
Simple as that.
Yeah, it doesn't get much more simpler than that.
It'll be a trips right formation for Sandy. They're in a bunch set. Lucas gets the snap. rolls out to his right, trying to buy some time. He's only got one receiver, but a ton of open field. Uses his legs and gets out of bounds at about the first down marker. And I think they're going to give it to him as he gets out at the 20-yard line. They'll move those sticks, and 1st and 10 from the 20.
I think that was a design sprint out. Just run your receivers deep, open up a lane for your quarterback to one, create some more room, and then to pick up some nice yardage.
Yeah, there was only one receiver on that side of the field, even though they started off with trips. The two other ones ran crossing routes, and that opened up that running area for Lucas. High snap, looks to his right. Now he throws to Thompson at the sticks, and he falls forward for what looks to be a gain of 11.
Thompson has been a bright spot for the Pioneers in today's game. Sometimes you have to just try to find something to build on, and Thompson has been that one for the Pioneers.
Yeah, he has to be closing in on about 100 yards through the air. 7 catches for 96 yards.
I need him on my fantasy team.
Me too. I need all the help I can get. Lucas drops back to pass, beats the defender, steps up and delivers a strike to his man Thompson at the 50-yard line. And so that will put him over the 100-yard mark for receiving. And it looks like they'll mark him out at the 49-yard line. So 1st and 10 from Sandy's own 49. Clock closing in at 3 minutes. Pump fake left, looks back right. He's got Thompson down the sideline, and he leads him out of bounds. So incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 49-yard line.
He pump faked to the left as if he was going to throw the ball to somebody else. And
I don't think he's thrown it to anybody else. Maybe one of the running backs.
Yeah.
It's been the Thompson show out on the edge.
So now they'll give him more room on this side of the field. See if they can get it to him.
They're going to roll out to his side. Now he breaks towards the sideline. The pass is high. And broken up by Tevin Alagar.
He's tired. That's a lot to ask for any football player at any level, and let alone here at this level, to just consistently be the target. You're running routes, you're making catches, you're getting hit, get up, do it again, get up, do it again.
And you could tell he was a bit winded as he got to the huddle right there. He stopped a few steps shy, and then he followed up with a few more. I mean, he's winded. Hands are on the hips right now as he gets out into position. 3rd and 10. Lucas drops back to pass, has a decent pocket, puts it high in the air for Willis. And the defender forces him out of bounds. That's Cameron Giles. And that'll bring up 4th and 10 with 90 seconds left to go in today's game. What a turn of events, believe it or not. It was almost halftime, and it was a 1-point game with 44 seconds left until the half. And Central Catholic put up 2 touchdowns in that short span thanks to a kickoff return, some stellar defense, some smart timeouts used. And then they got a timeout as the half expired. A screen set up for the running back and nothing going for it. Excuse me, not for the running back, but for the wide receiver Willis. And just like much of the night for Sandy, nothing comes to fruition of it.
Nope. And you can just point back to the series of events that you're talking about right now, to the end of that first half. If they could have got out of that first half, even with the 1 touchdown off the kickoff return, if they could have just gotten out of that 14-6, it may have looked different for them here in the second half.
It's still a 1-score game at that point. You get a 2-point conversion after a touchdown, and you've got a much different feel to it.
There's more things that happen in that moment, but as a coach, you're going to talk about the penalty. You're going to go in there and you're trying to hammer home to your teammates or to your team that you can't beat yourselves. And personal foul penalties are the worst that you can get. And clearly it's not all Zimmerman's fault, but that's, as a coach, those are the things that you harp on.
Yeah, that's going to be the glaring thing that sticks out to you on that one, because you're right. You prevent that last touchdown if you start where you're at. You're not pinned back at your own goal line, having to punt and giving a short field to Central Catholic. But that is today's game, 41-6. Central Catholic takes care of the Sandy Pioneers. I'm Bryan Sleik. That was James Broadous. James, any final thoughts on today's game?
Well, the demise of the Rams have been greatly exaggerated. They are still a good football program, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. You know, the rankings, it's always, people are looking at the rankings and stuff. They're ranked number 21, but that has nothing to do with how good of a football team they are and how well coached they are and what a great program that they run. So they will be there at the end, and I think we're in for a great season.
Yeah, no panic from this Rams team after being shut out last week to St. John Bosco. They returned by putting up 41 points against the Sandy Pioneers. I'm Bryan Sleik. That was James Broadous. I want to thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on Rams TV. Until next week, tune in to Hillsboro Stadium at 7 p.m. for our kickoff.